Okay.
Yeah, you can clap with me. The clap is really just to sync the video with the mic, but I like the spirit and enthusiasm. Okay, you guys, if you can't tell by his laugh, today I have on Louis Levanti.
Levanti, yeah, that was
Levanti.
good. Yeah.
Earlier today, right before we started recording this, I had to ask him if it's Louis or Louis. This entire time, I was calling him Louis. I apologize. It's not a good friend of myself.
It's okay. At least, like, you asked. People don't ask. Sometimes they just keep saying it. I'm
True.
like, but I also let it slide, and I shouldn't do that. So
Yeah,
thank you for
stick your
asking.
ground. I had to clarify, too, with Danielle earlier that I recorded with as well. So, just gotta set the tone.
What did you have to clarify? Last name or first name?
Last name.
Is it Caroline?
Carolyn. Yeah.
Carolyn. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I think so. Gosh, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the episode and make sure. I'm
Cut
so
that
bad
out,
at
yeah.
I am so freaking bad at names. Like I feel like we're constantly meeting new people and it's so hard to keep track of people's names. Like I remember faces, but
Yeah. Well, I was just at I went to Fire Island this past weekend for Labor Day.
What's that?
It's an island off of Long Island where people just go like there's different parts. Like so the one I went to was like this place called Flynn's and had a bar. It's like a day drink.
Okay.
And a bunch of people were coming up to me like saying they knew me, and I'm really good at remembering people, so I like to remember people who come up to me and are like, oh,
That's
I know
so
you from
nice.
TikTok.
Yeah.
And they all were coming up to me, and I do this thing where I'm like, what's your name? And then they tell me their name, and then I'm like, remind me of your name again, and I do it 3 times, because if you say somebody's name 3 times, you're more likely to remember it, and I learned that in school.
I learned that in
remembered
sorority
that.
recruitment.
And I remembered them. I went through my DM requests, and I was like, oh my god, it's Elena. I was like, Elena, and she sent me a picture too, so like I remembered her.
Okay. Well, I gotta start doing that. Start taking your advice.
Yeah, 3 times, and you just like interject it randomly in the conversation. You're like, oh, but by the way, just like so I remember, what is your name again? And then they
Perfect.
say, yeah.
All right. Well, that's some good advice for anyone listening too, in case you forget either of our names.
Yeah.
But we're gonna start out this episode the right way, the only way.
The only way I
with
feel like I know how.
A pregame. Of course. So, Louis, you make a lot of content around like making cocktails, making drinks, trying different new foods. So
yeah, a lot of different things. I feel like I slipped and fell into. I'm gonna pass you the. Oh wait, so it's orange and pineapple juice. So
yeah,
we're really going for it.
Oh,
but
we got a lot of ingredients here, you guys.
What was the order? Do we know the order? Ice.
Yeah.
Ice.
So we're gonna make cocktails with you guys. If you happen to have these ingredients, then feel free to make it with us. You might be like listening in your car or on a walk.
Don't do it in your car. Don't do it in your car.
Make this drink at a later time. But the drink that we're gonna make it's called Fun on Weekdays. That's what the drink is called.
Yes.
And it is inspired by my favorite drink, which is a painkiller. You live in Long Island.
Yes, I do live in
So
Long Island.
tell everybody just like a quick little background story about you and give some context to who you are.
Yeah, so I'm Louis. I would say I'm a TikToker, obviously. So I started on TikTok posting like celebrity roasts, and then I went into nostalgia content, and now I kind of just do a lot of different things. Like I still do celebrity, but now I'm like making drinks, I'm eating food, I'm trying to get into fashion. I just kind of talk sometimes. Like you do like stand-up kind of stuff. I do some of that now.
Yeah, I do stand-up stuff.
Not like stand-up comedy, but like stand-ups, like as in like you just kind of like take a video of yourself.
I'm like, Louis, I'm sitting down right now.
It's just like your life. Like you're just like you talk, and people are like, I love her. Like so, I'm trying to do more talking stuff because like I do have things other than celebrity stuff to talk about.
Yeah,
but
totally.
That's like kind of my vibe. I'm from like Long Island, middle of Long Island. If you know where the Hamptons is, I'm an hour from there, but I'm also an hour from the city. So like, a little bit of everything, a little bit of the whole gamut of New York. And I went to school upstate New York, so I've been everywhere.
Where did you go to school?
Ithaca College, so like near Cornell, so in that town.
Gotcha.
Which is like.
Okay, I'm gonna quickly like really stir this up. We're probably gonna have to cut this out because it's just so loud, and I didn't want to like do it while we talk before we like try it.
No, I'm ready.
Does it smell good?
Smells so good.
It does?
Yes.
Okay, so we got it all mixed up, and before we take a sip, we need to sprinkle on a little bit of nutmeg, just because Google told me to. So.
Yeah, Google's free. That's like another thing I always say in my videos. People are like, how do you know this stuff? Like, you're lying. I'm like, you can literally Google it. I shouldn't have to tell you. Like,
seriously, people ask me for recommendations all the time, and a lot of times, like, I just don't know. Because I'm not a travel agent, I'm not a professional, I'm not an apartment locator, I don't know.
You're like living through the life
right,
yourself.
Right, I rely on Google just like everyone else.
Yeah, I'm like, and they're like, how, like, why do you know all this stuff about celebrities? I'm like, I literally don't. I think of the topic, and I'm like, okay, who can I look up and see? Like, I'll put in, like, Ariana Grande, like, weird food she eats. And it pops up. Like,
that's so
it's
random,
out there.
too. Yeah, you just have to have like the idea to Google it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But getting back to your content, so Lewis and I literally made friends through TikTok. When was it? Like
early. We were like early. I was still like probably around.
I think you might have had like 200K.
Yeah,
or something.
I was low. Like I was still down there.
Well, I mean,
you're not.
Even
You're still high though. You're like 300 now.
Yeah, but even like I'm like 300.
You're 300.
Yeah, but
you're soaring now. You and Kennedy are like going.
I feel like the podcast has really been a kind of different side of like the content that I've been making lately. Now that I'm doing it full time, it's just weird. It's really weird. But
yeah, it's an extension of you. I feel like when we listen to it, like it's so much more that you don't get in like a 30-second TikTok video. Like it's so much more.
So we made friends through TikTok, and then when I found out that I was going to be in New York City, I was like, we have to meet, because the last time I was here, we weren't able to, like our plans fell through.
Yeah, because I was with I was going out to dinner with another group of people. Oh yeah, we need to drink this.
Yeah, sorry, I totally cut you off, but I'm like eyeing this, and I'm like, oh, I need to.
Not a lot of ice. Pardon me spitting. Very fitting. I like it.
Do you?
I think it's good, yeah. A little more alcohol?
Yeah, maybe a little bit more alcohol. Am I going to regret saying that?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I think more is better, and I think if you can't taste it, it's not worth it.
Totally true, you know?
Ooh, that was a lot. I mean, like, look at
Not
good night, everybody.
Not us drinking like half a bottle. But we are going to an event after this, and so this is a good pregame, you know? So I guess we're saving money in the long run.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I think a big thing too, like why I started doing like the drink videos was to save money.
Mm-hmm.
Like I started doing them around the holidays, and me and my friends were like, oh, you know, it's cold, we don't really want to go out anywhere, like, but we want to drink, but we don't want to like go to a bar and spend a shit ton of money on a cover charge and do all that stuff. So I was like, oh, is it strong now?
Oh, she's strong. But it is so expensive to go out.
Yeah, it's like super expensive, and we did one of those. We're like, oh, we should do like that. Everybody makes your own cocktail, and we serve it to each other.
I love those videos.
And I was sitting there, and I was like, wait, like this could be content. So I was like, let's film every single person's, and right there, I had 4 viral videos of drink content just around Christmas, and then I continued to make them through my birthday. Like, I did like a Valentine's Day one, and then I was like, okay, this is a thing, and now it's just evolved into like Starbucks and like Dunkin', and like, what can I pour alcohol into? Everything.
I love it.
Literally everything, including water.
I was going to say, what is the weirdest drink that you've made? People are constantly asking me for my favorite drink.
Oh, what is the
I've been asking like everyone that I've had on the podcast, basically, like, what's your go-to drink?
Well, my go-to drink, like, if I go out to a bar, it's because, like, I've convinced myself that, like, because they're healthy, they taste really good, and I think I've just convinced myself that tequila in general tastes good.
Okay.
So my mind is like, it's delicious, and it is now. Like, I actually love drinking it, so tequila, soda, lime.
Mm-hmm.
Tequila, soda, lime, and lemon. But the weirdest one I've made was I did Tequila Waters, where I just took a water bottle and I put tequila in it and lime juice, and that was it.
Okay.
Delicious and refreshing and hydrates you. So I was like safe. And and then I do this other thing, which I don't recommend. I started it in college. It was a very college thing, and I did do it for a TikTok around my birthday, and it went like semi-viral, but I called it rapid fire shots. So we were talking about efficiency.
Yeah.
I like to get out and know that I'm already drunk and I don't need to spend money.
Totally.
So right before like an Uber would come, I would have like my drink, and I'd be sipping my drink, and everybody's like, Uber's coming, and I would be like, okay, finish my 1 drink for the pregame. And I would line up 5 shots.
Oh my god.
And I would take them.
Of tequila?
Yeah. And I would take them in a row, and I was good. I would get in the Uber, and by the time the Uber got to where we needed to go, I was hammered.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm good to go. I'm ready to party.
Tequila is like a different drunk too, I will say.
Yeah.
Like every type of alcohol just hits different. I think like if you're gonna sustain something like throughout a day, like say you're going to a darty or something, or like I don't know, a friend's house during the summer, or like the pool, you're gonna be drinking like a seltzer, you know?
Yeah, I'm a big White Claw iced teas. Those
White Claw iced tea.
My go-to lately. Yeah.
Iced tea?
You haven't had the iced teas?
No.
Oh, I suggest you get on the iced tea grind.
Oh my gosh, I've only ever had like the truly iced tea lemonades.
Those are the iced tea lemonades are very good. Is it iced tea lemonade? Yes, they have the mixed ones.
They're so good.
So good.
I mean, straight sugar, you wake up and you are actually like shaking from the sugar that you just consumed.
My face is like red and swollen.
Yeah, oh my god. I love I don't love it, but when your face is so swollen and like Does this happen to you?
I'm still coming down from it. The past 3 days.
Did you go out last night?
No, Labor Day I like ate like, a ton of like salty food. I drank a disgusting amount of seltzers, pina coladas, everything. And I was posting on my story like constantly. I'm like, guys, my face is still swollen. Everybody's like, it's from drinking, and I'm like, shut up. I'm like,
let me just live my life.
Don't ruin this for me. Like, let me think it's like because I'm not sleeping, which probably is the case. Too.
I mean, that's probably definitely the problem.
Yeah.
Do you have an ice roller though? I've heard that ice rollers like really help. You know, you kind of move around like the fluid that's in your face, and you kind of like even it out.
I need one, and I used my friends in LA, and like I was like holding it, and I was like, what is this? And I just rubbed it. I was like, it's in the freezer.
It looks like something a little crazy.
I was like, why is it in the freezer? And then I was just like, okay, whatever it is, like I've done worse to my body, like at this point. So I was fine with it. But yes, I need to invest in one. I think I really do. Because I started rubbing ice cubes on my face because it's basically the same thing. But like, I'm soaking wet by the end. But I'm like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding. Like,
yeah. You should totally get one. I don't know if it'll help. I've used it a couple times and I'm like, I don't know if it actually works or if I just think that it works because I want it to. But does this happen to you? Like your toes and your fingers get really swollen?
My feet get so swollen. Like these shoes would not fit if I tried them on Monday.
I feel so gross. I'll be like wearing heels when I'm out at a bar, and I originally thought like, oh, it's just so hot in Texas, I'm dehydrated, whatever. And then I realized, oh my God, like it's because I've been drinking.
Yes. And
I'm like, that's actually disgusting. Like my heels don't fit me anymore. My rings are like popping off my fingers. I noticed it in my wrist
too. So I do this weird thing just because I don't wear anything on my wrist just because I don't like watches. I don't like bracelets or anything. But I notice I can like feel
the difference in your wrist.
In my wrist, like when I'm swollen.
I'm gonna start measuring mine now.
I just sit there and I can tell like if I could do this, I'm like, oh no, I'm good. But then like there's times where I can feel my wrist touching my fingers, and I'm like, oh, I'm bloated, I'm swollen, like it's horrible. I'm like, oh, I need to drink water.
Yeah, I'm gonna start measuring how bloated I am based on the size of my wrist.
It's just a weird thing I always do now. I've done it in college and I do it now so much. So I'm just like, I just like check.
Crazy.
I don't know why.
Okay, so now that we've kind of gone off on a tangent, I mean,
we're just having fun.
I know, seriously, we're just having fun. And you know what today is? It's a Wednesday, so it makes sense because it is a weekday. And before you came over and before we were talking about recording this podcast, I was like, Lewis, what kind of topics do you want to talk about? I feel like there's so many things that we could talk about. I mean, we could literally just sit and chat here like friends.
Yeah.
But you mentioned too, you're like, I think it's really cool because ever since your podcast came out, Fun on Weekdays, I really have loved the idea of that, and I've started embracing it in my own life. So I would love for you to talk about how you embrace Fun on Weekdays.
Like, because we've been following each other for so long, and like I like literally have like lived through you. Like I just feel like you're so upbeat and positive. Like,
thank you.
And congratulations on all the success. Like you're killing it. But I remember when it first came out, you posted like your teaser, and I was like, I got like the chills. Like I was like, this is insane. And like I was saying how like I was in LA for the month in March, and I had been there on and off, and I really liked it there, and I really do think it's my place. And I got so motivated there that when I came back, I've fallen into this rut where like I'm still being creative, but it's a lot harder because I know what else is out there and what else could be. And I was in this really bad funk in like, I want to say it was like July, maybe end of July. And I remember just being down for 2 weeks straight. My mom's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I just don't know. I'm like all over the place. Like, I'm just like working the same day over and over again, even though I was trying to change it for summer, but I fell back into the repetitive days.
Yeah, it's so easy to do that.
Yeah, it's wild.
Especially when you're working like a job that you're not super passionate about, it's so easy to just like literally fall into a routine.
Yeah. And
then you feel like every single day you wake up, it's like a simulation of the same thing over and over again.
And then I would listen to, I think it was like first three of your podcasts, and I was like listening to all of them. I'm like, I really need to like figure this out. This day, it was like a Monday or whatever, and I woke up.
You're on a date?
No, it was just like on like some random day. It was like a Monday.
I was gonna say I needed the tea on the date, Lewis.
We don't date. That's another topic we can get. I just don't.
Oh my
date.
God. Okay, I am so excited to hear about this, but keep going.
I'm very different about that. So like, I'm very good at talking about it, but like people are like, what? But
okay, I'm excited.
I call it, so on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I have like a blast. I have such a good time with my friends, and then I call it like post-party like depression, like even if it's just a weekend out. And this Monday I was feeling so gross, but I was just like, I need to get out of this funk. Like that's something that's a part of the repeat. Like I'm doing the weekends, and then I get to Monday and I'm upset. Yeah. So I woke up on the Monday and I texted my friend. I was like, one of my best friends. I was like, well, let's go to trivia.
I love that.
And he's like, what? I'm like,
trivia is so random.
I was like,
but
let's go to trivia. And he was like, okay, like, I was like, actually, let's go to Margarita Monday, and then let's go to trivia.
Oh, even better.
And we had
pregame the trivia?
We had a whole day, and then that entire week, we were like, I think it kicked us in the ass to like do more stuff, and that week like set the tone for the rest of the summer, where we were just like doing stuff every day. We were going to like the block parties that they have during the week. We were just like, I felt so much better that like, I also wasn't stressing about my job so much, where I was like, oh my god, what if I get an email? I'm like, if I get an email, it'll be there tomorrow, and I will deal with it in the morning. Like, I just think, like you said too, it's so easy to fall into that if you're doing a job that you're not like necessarily in love with. Like we talked about, like I'm still working a full-time job, but like content creation is like, that's fun, but I feel like I can't fully put myself into it yet until I figure out where I want to be. Do I want both? Do I want like this full-time career in the industry? Do I want to be a creator? But like at that point, that's where I'm like, I need to make the leap to LA again and like figure it out.
Yeah, totally. And it takes time to like finally make that leap, because you want to make sure that you think everything through. But I don't know, I think that's really important too, because like you said, if you're falling into the routine of like just going out on weekdays or weekends, and then Monday rolls around, you're like, oh fuck, it's a new week, like, I hate
Friday.
It. Like, and that same energy is repetitive, then like you're also falling into that same trap too. It's not just the repetitiveness of like your job.
Exactly.
But out of curiosity, because I feel like people are gonna be asking is, what are you doing right now? What is your 9 to 5?
Yeah, so I work as a digital coordinator for Viacom CBS. So I work for MTV, Comedy Central, Nickelodeon.
So cool.
My job
is cool.
It's changed so much, because I was originally like doing like, you know, back end like analytics and stuff like that. And now because of TikTok, I'm leaning into like TikTok strategy. I just like developed a whole plan.
I love that for you.
Which is insane. Which I'm like, this is so exciting, but it's like, is that? I've talked to my boss about this too. I'm like, is that exactly where I belong? He thinks like I should be a full-time creator, and I'm like, but you know, I still want to do like the job.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I do, and I like it. Some days are better than others, but like some days I'm like, this is taking away from me being a creative person. But also then I'm like, how am I going to say that when I'm pitching content? Like, it's such a give and a take.
It's interesting because you're kind of on like the backside of content.
Yes.
Where you're like making strategies for other brands, whereas you should be the person that's like making the content for the brands to post. You know what I mean?
Yes. Like, and that was the ultimate goal. We were talking like, at some point, if these ideas were to work out, how could I be a part of them? Could I be in them? Could I be, you know, help produce them? And I'm like, that would be the ultimate goal. And like, I'm still in that phase of like, we're figuring it out. But yeah, like that's like what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, I can't take the leap yet, because there is still something here. Yeah. It's like so weird. But then I'm like watching everybody else. I'm like, everybody is so successful in being a full-time creator. Like you, like everybody I know.
Well,
like,
I mean, I just
started.
So it's like, and also too, I think about it as like being like a full-time podcast, you know, like there's a lot that goes into like all of those things, and I feel like sometimes people undervalue, you know, like the amount of time and organization and like communication that it really takes.
And you can't do that if you have
successful.
The full-time job. Like you need to put the time in, because if you put the time in, it's going to be so good. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for you. I mean, it sounds like you don't hate your 9 to 5, right?
I don't. I actually really like it, because I do think I've learned so much, and it's actually helped me like with content. Like I think of my content with like the celebrity stuff. I think of fandoms, and like people eat that shit up. Like people are like, oh, like you're talking about Ariana Grande, like
oh my
I'm gonna come watch. Like I'm like, so I think of things like that, and I also just like see what other brands are doing outside of ours, and like, because I'm doing the analysis, so I get ideas, and it's helpful like with a lot of things. But I do have in the back of my mind where I want to go, and I think I just have to push myself there.
Yeah, well, I am happy to be the friend that is encouraging you to do that, because I believe in you. I think that, seriously, I mean, whatever you want to do, like, I think that if you're passionate about something, like, you should never do anything that you are good at or that you enjoy for free. Like, there's always an opportunity to make money. There's always an opportunity to work with someone, or like to integrate that into your life in a way that like you can sustain it. Yeah. So I'm really excited for you. You're also moving to LA soon.
Yes, I am moving. I'm ready to go. Signed my lease. It's all good to go. I'm living with one of my best friends, and I think that's where I'm really gonna figure out. I want to reinvent my content. I'm slowly doing it at home, but I think when I'm there, I do have this opportunity of a new place, a new location. I like
Yeah.
have connected with people out there that I already know, like we want to meet up, and I'm like, that's just like new opportunity.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
And excitement brings like motivation and inspiration.
Yes,
And it
I'm
brings
just excited
like
to be somewhere
creativity,
else.
you know?
And sun all the time.
Oh,
Like, I feel like
yeah.
here it's just like really damp and hot there, and be like, it's a desert. Like,
Yeah.
I am fine with it.
Oh yeah, you're gonna love it. And so maybe we'll hang out when I'm there. I'm gonna be
now
like
that maybe
in and
we
out.
are
Oh well,
hanging
yeah,
out.
of
No,
course.
We are.
Of
We have
course.
to set up. We have a whole plan. I have a plan in my head of who we all need to hang out with. Like there is just.
I love it. We'll
We're there
have
for
a-
Halloween. Like.
Oh my god. Well, I won't say anything yet. I won't spoil the
Oh, you
news
won't-
or
no,
anything. But
don't
I might
spoil
not be. I might not be in LA for LA. I might not be in LA for Halloween. But if I am, we will have a great time together and like
And if you're not, we
new
will still have
friends
a
and
great
everything. Yeah. Out of curiosity, how did you find your apartment? People ask me all the time like how you find a place in a new city. Did you use like an apartment locator or?
No, so I had a different, like, I was very unique because I didn't have to do any of that because
Okay.
I went to Ithaca College, which is upstate New York, and we had an LA program. So I lived in this building called the Ava Toluca Hills, which was like, I'm trying to think of where about, it's like Toluca Lake near Hollywood,
Mhm.
best way to put it. And we lived in those, and like we got housed there. My current roommate, she also lived with me there, and they had other Ava buildings around
Okay.
California. So there was an Ava Burbank, and she's been there since we graduated. So she moved out there. Which the Ava buildings, every single one is nice. They're definitely pricey depending on which one you get. Like we have the better price of the one.
Okay.
But
Yeah, LA is so expensive. Oh
but
my
like if
God.
you find a gem, like ours is really good, and like I'm gonna be doing like apartment tours, and like, that's something I'm excited to do because I'm like I can't wait to show people just
yeah.
like what you
it's
get,
so
what
fun.
you get in LA versus like a New York City.
Mhm.
Like nobody gets that, and that's like kind of something I'm trying to do. But yeah, we just found the Avas, and she was like, I'm gonna be in Ava Burbank. Like if you ever think about it, like we can like work something out, and then
Oh,
we
cool.
now are living together because she was like, hey, I need a roommate. I'm like, oh, I'm coming. Like,
Yeah,
it's
that's cool. I feel like usually when you're moving to a new city, it's like Zillow,
Mhm.
Facebook groups. Like honestly, just connecting with people who already live there that you're friends with. I mean,
the
that's
Facebook
how.
groups have been
help
really
you.
big, not only for the finding apartments or like houses to live in, but I got my bed frame already from
oh my God.
the Facebook group. Like,
Facebook Marketplace is literal gold. I got
Oh
this
my
like
God.
Anthropology lamp that is probably, I think it's like $300 some from Anthropology, and somebody was selling it for $50, and I'm like, yep,
steal,
duh,
a steal.
no brainer, no
That's what
brainer.
I'm saying. Like, you can decorate an entire room off of Facebook Marketplace, and like that's something I'm
Save
excited. To just,
money.
I'm excited to just like decorate a place.
Yeah.
Like Amanda, like my roommate Amanda, she has like her stuff decorated in a little bit of like the living room and the kitchen. She's like, but I'm ready to like go full force. I'm like, I want people to come here and be like, okay, these fucking psychopaths live here.
Yeah,
It's beautiful. I'm like, yeah,
I
because
love
we're
that.
fucking crazy. Like, whatever. Like,
I'm so excited
I'm-
to see it.
you know,
So
like
you
some
can do
photo
the
ops. Like, you know, people can walk
Exactly.
and be like, where am I going to take a photo next? Like,
course.
I'm just so excited.
Love it.
I'm very hyped to move.
Love it.
Love
so,
my family, but I'm sorry,
yeah, of
guys.
course. You know that like in your 20s, and how old are you?
I'm 24.
24. Okay.
We're the same. You're 23, right?
I'm 23. I'll be 24 September 30th.
Okay.
So wish me an early happy birthday.
Oh, happy early birthday.
Thank
Very
you,
close.
Libra energy here.
When do you go to LA?
So I am going to LA. Technically, I have an Airbnb October to December.
Okay.
However, I went to Dallas a couple weeks ago and I sat down with my managers and I was looking at like my calendar and I was looking at post dates and recording dates and guests and like all of this stuff, and I'm trying to host events and then I'm also trying to get merch out there and I'm trying to do all of this stuff, and I realized that like I cannot be in LA the entire time,
Yeah.
and so it doesn't make sense for me to be out there when like my entire brand is in Austin.
Yes.
So I still have the Airbnb out there, and then I also just signed a new apartment in Texas
Okay.
that I move into September 23rd. And honestly,
So when I leave, oh my god, it's like
Is
we're
it
manifesting
really?
like new beginnings.
I love that.
Yeah,
I
this
love
is
new
good.
beginnings.
New beginnings.
I love that. Start on a fresh note, reinvent yourself. So honestly, by the time that this episode comes out, it'll probably be like the week that I'm moving into my apartment. So I'm gonna be in LA for like maybe a week and a half in October, but October's a super crazy hectic month for me, especially because I'm trying to plan some events in Austin and trying to do a lot of stuff, and then I'll be there for like just a couple weeks throughout the next few months.
Well, it's
And
the holidays.
yeah, and my whole goal with going there is literally just to like sit down and have a bunch of like guests on the
Yeah.
podcast that people want and like want to hear from, because
There's also a lot of people, like, you're just like so genuine and you connect with people. I feel like you could have like a brick wall on it. It'd be a
Yeah.
great show. Like I feel like you just like know how to talk and like.
Oh, thank you.
And we also know
Appreciate
people in LA. Like
Yeah.
you know, like I feel like you should have like Fibula on. Like
Oh my gosh, I love him. So
iconic.
yeah, he was in Austin a couple weeks ago, like maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, and I was hanging out with him at an event for a mutual friend that we have, and we were both talking about like, oh my gosh, we have to hang out, and like it's so hard to actually hang out with people these days because everybody's schedules are so different, so it's hard to
Everyone's so
actually find
busy,
time that like
yeah.
really aligns. But okay, going so far back to like you integrating fun on weekdays into your like mantra and your outlook on life, I want to hear like, do you have any good stories of a day that you were like fun on weekdays, you went out during a weekday, or you did some like random activity and it like you have a good story out of it?
I do have a really good story. This is actually in college, and it was like before fun on weekdays. Like,
Okay,
it's a thing,
I mean,
but
that's
it is a
still
fun
so
on
true.
weekday like kind of thing. And I did have a friend in college who was really like that mentality. He was like, we should just go out, like enjoy like our lives. I'm like, yeah, you're right. In college, it was like a Monday, I think, and we had this one bar that like would do like different like themes every night or whatever it was. But this one day, it was like 6 o'clock beer pong tournament, and I was like, 6 o'clock, I have to go to bed. Like I have stuff to do, and
6 o'clock is early. What are you talking about? You got like
on
you
a
got, like, 4 hours.
Monday. Well, this is back when I was like very on my shit. Like,
okay.
But he comes and he knocks on my door and he goes like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I'm just like I'm writing a paper or whatever. And he's just like, "Do you want to go play beer pong?" And I'm like, "Oh, like where?" He goes, "To the bar." So I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding?" I have to get ready. He was like, "Go hop in the shower, get ready, start playing some music."
Fix your hair. By the way, your hair looks awesome
touch
right
it.
now. Oh my god, I can't touch it because I think I'll mess it up.
No, it's kind of hard. Like
looks
it just
immaculate.
stays.
Oh my god, it looks. If you guys are watching this, his hair is literally immaculate.
It's very fun. I like it. It's very old school too. People are like, "Why do you do that?" I'm like, "Because it's fun."
No, because new school is like sway boys, and it's like
and the
a
mullets have come back. If you have a
Yeah.
mullet, I'm sorry, I don't know why you do that to yourself, but
honestly,
it's enough.
I'm not gonna lie. A mullet to me, like if you can pull off a mullet, you are a next level type of
But then you
hot.
don't pull off anything.
If you can pull off a mullet and you have the stash too, and you look hot, like you're elite.
I like being very clean. Like I can't.
Yeah.
I shave my face like every day, even though if nothing's there, I'm like, just give it a little
Just-
once over.
Yeah. I
But-
feel that.
Speaking,
Oh,
I
the
would
beer
shave
pong.
and then I would go
Oh
to
my
beer
God.
pong and like I
Yeah.
was like, he's like, go shave, go do what you got to do. I'm like, fine, and we get there. And it's like a competition where like if you win, you get money, and the money goes towards like your drinks. And I'm like,
Oh my god.
I gotta go. Like
The best type of motivation. Are you kidding me?
yes. And we went and we played. We made it to like the final round. We lost, but he was like, now we're out. Like we can't not.
Yeah.
I didn't get home until like 3 a.m. I had a class at 9. Like, and I got there. And I was like, that was a good time. And now I still remember it. Like that was
Yeah.
so, even though like if I got really drunk, I wouldn't. Like I was just like in such a good like mindset that I was like, this is one of the best days ever.
I love that.
It like was.
I feel like all of the most unexpected nights are the best nights. They always turn into the best stories.
And if they're too planned, they suck.
Yes. Oh my god. Okay, first of all, New Year's Eve every year sucks.
My New I'm so glad you said that because my New Year's Eves for the past 5 years have sucked because we're always like, where are we going? When are we getting there?
Yes,
Whose house is it? I'm like, and we've
so
never
much-
had fun. Like,
Right. There's so much pressure on trying to make it into like the perfect night with like the best memories and the best people. And then I feel like when you plan it too much, you take away like the spontaneity of it.
yeah.
And honestly, like, I don't even mean to say this just because like it's the name of my own podcast, but me and Lily, my roommate, which she gets into New York tomorrow. So if you're around, like, damn it, I would love for you to meet her. You would love her. We talk all the time. We're like, we don't really go out on the weekends that much anymore, and I genuinely think it's because we're having like more fun on the weekdays when it's like not as busy out. Like there's better deals on drinks and food, and like there's just, I don't know. For some reason, I feel like there's a lot of stress on like packing all the fun into the weekends. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like that's why this
Yeah.
is so good. I also feel the same way. Like we're always like, I have this one friend who's always just like, what are we doing Friday? What are we doing Saturday? Like, are we gonna do something Sunday? And I'm just like, I can't have a plan because like I have anxiety. I'm like, I would rather not be in charge of a plan. I'd rather be able to just go with the flow.
Yes.
Be like, oh, where, it's like 9 o'clock, I'm having a drink. Like, where should we go?
Yeah.
And we find a place, and usually those are the best nights where we're like, because by me, we have like 3 towns we go to. It's like Farmingdale, Babylon, or like Patchogue. And everybody, if you can pronounce those,
Patchogue.
but we'd be like, where should we go? And those are the best nights because if we're like, let's just go to Farmingdale, we'll go, and it's the best night ever because we didn't expect it.
Yeah.
If we go expecting, like, somebody's like, oh, I heard this place is gonna be the best.
Oh
like,
my
it's gonna be so fun, and we
Always.
get there and like, bang, like this is boring. Like,
Yeah.
I'd rather go drink in my house than like go to bed.
Sometimes I would almost rather literally just like walk on the street and try to find a place that looks interesting to go into rather than Googling it. Or like rather than taking a recommendation from somebody. Because if you go into it without any expectations, you're gonna have a much better time.
Because is it hype or is it actually a good time?
Yeah.
You never know.
Always. Is it the perception of what you're actually doing? Like, do you actually are you convincing yourself you're having fun, or did you actually have fun?
Yeah, because
you know what I mean?
Like, they could be like, I had the best time here on this day, but like, I'm like, okay, it's a different day. You're a different person. Like,
Totally.
The vibes are different.
Totally. On that note, now I feel like we need to switch gears into talking about dating because that's been on my mind this entire time. I'm like, Liz, I need you to tell me about your dating life because I feel like that's one thing that I don't know about you.
And no one does.
I feel like genuinely, I mean, all of your content, it's so funny, it's so uplifting, and like literally puts a smile on my face. If you don't follow him on TikTok already, you have to.
Oh, thank you.
Instagram too. He's got those sexy pictures.
My little pool pics, when I try to like work out when I'm not swollen.
Don't worry, I got you with the hype up.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
But if you don't follow him, seriously go follow him because he's such like a ray of light. Always makes me laugh.
God,
also too, it's always like so random. But because like you have so many different types of content, I feel like I don't really know you. Like
in,
your
like, the
personal life.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because like I don't know. Are you like cool with sharing this? I don't want to like pry it out of you.
I actually I've talked about this. I'm starting to get into more personal stuff.
Okay.
The one thing I stayed away from a little bit was dating, but like I'll get into that in a second. But like when I first started, I was like, you know what, I don't want to put like I don't really have anything personal that's like I don't want to talk about. Like I just don't. Even like my family, like I'm sometimes very like reserved with them. Like I just like I like my life to be my life, and like if I really want to share, I'll share. But I've learned I feel better when I start to talk about things. Like I started to talk about very personal things. Like I started off with like like eating disorder stuff and stuff like that. People like I saw the reaction I got from it. I'm like, oh my god, like my audience. Not that they like want to hear that I've gone through stuff. Like they want to hear that I'm more than just all this, and they're like I can't believe like you've like would never know, and like thank you for speaking because now I feel so much more comfortable. Like, and I was like, holy shit, like that's like what I'm trying to get into more, like showing more of my life. Dating is a different thing because it's like I dated in like high school, and it was like very like the high school dating where it doesn't count, where I considered it didn't count. Like,
what would you consider like a high school date? Because for me, like I would literally go over to my boyfriend's house, or he would come to my house, and like that was just what we would do. Like we wouldn't go on
get food
actual
and go back to
dates.
a house and just like sit and like hang out and watch like a movie or something, and that was it. And like I had a few of those, and like I just was like, okay, like I'm bored of this. I'm also very like Capricorn. I'm very like career oriented, very career oriented, like very like about my business, about my job. But I also have been like on this mindset of like I had like my flings in college. Like I haven't really done anything now that I'm like, obviously COVID happened, like so I wasn't doing anything, but like
definitely took a toll on people's dating lives.
I mean,
like, are you on dating apps?
I was on Bumble for a little bit, and I liked
Bumble. Okay.
I did have like a few bad experiences in college where like this one girl like tricked me into like she was like my cousin is Ashley Tisdale and had like these photos with her, and they were I didn't think she photoshopped them. But apparently she was like a cousin of Ashley Tisdale and got like a photo with her and was like,
oh my god.
I was like, oh, this is so interesting. Like we should hang out, whatever. Like, you bring up cool things to talk about, and like you get interested in someone because you're like, oh, they're a really cool person or whatever. Turns out they were like not even related, like at all.
Okay.
So I was like, this is not. So I was like, dating apps aren't for me. Maybe one day. Maybe I'll get back into it.
Okay.
If anybody, if you by request, I'll get back
into
it. You guys can find me.
You guys. And you're single.
I'm very much single.
Very much single.
Doing my that's I like being single because I like having fun, and like my friends. My friends are always like too. They're like they're like you'll like I posted like a tweet about this. I'm like. My friends are like, you'll never find people because you always like black out on the weekends or whatever. I'm like, and like I'm having fun. Like if you guys can't handle it, maybe somebody one day will. Like,
I feel like whoever you end up with, like that person has to accept every part of you, and whether that's like if you want to go out on the weekends, like by all means, or if you want to go out on the weekdays, by all means. But that
Yeah.
person has to be understanding and accepting of who you are, because
Yes.
the second that you like change that, it changes the dynamic of the relationship, where I feel like you start becoming this person that you're not,
Mhm.
then you lose sight of that, and then like when you break up, if you do, which hopefully you don't, like you just have this like sense of self that's so lost.
Yes.
So with dating apps, okay, just before we get into
Mhm.
like actual dating, I'm so curious. Well, do you still have Bumble?
It's on my phone.
Okay.
It's there. I think it like warned me and was like, you haven't like done anything, so we're gonna like take
Okay.
you off. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I just didn't know.
Inactive.
I just didn't open the app. Like,
Okay. I used to have Hinge and Bumble, and I've
I've
been on.
never. Hinge is like a big thing. I've never.
Yes.
A lot of my friends have like found their
Okay.
significant others that way.
Truthfully, I think Hinge is better than Bumble if you're looking for like a more serious relationship, or if you're looking for somebody to like take you on a date. Because
Mhm.
Bumble to me is a little bit more like not hookup in the way that Tinder is, but Bumble is a little bit more like
Let's go have a good time.
Yeah,
like,
let's go have a
see
good
where
time.
it goes.
totally like. I think the question that it prompts you to ask is like, what are you looking for?
Mhm.
And then the people always answer and they say like, not sure yet. You know?
Well, I
Whereas
also-
on Hinge, I feel like people are looking for an actual relationship.
When I think Hinge, I think like people are getting into relationships. Like
Yeah.
with Bumble, like I think they also have like those aspects where it's like the business, the friends, like
Right.
the dating, and like
Yeah.
I met people like a few months ago out at like some club here, and I was like, oh, like how do you all know each other? And they're all like, oh, we met on Bumble. Like we did the
It's
Bumble
so cool.
friends, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Like,
Yeah.
like that sounds more realistic to me for Bumble. Like you meet friends that way.
Mhm.
Like and they're like, yeah, like all 5 of us became friends on Bumble. We all came here, and now like we hang out all the time.
Yeah. Bumble was also based in Austin, and like I've met girlfriends from Bumble.
Mhm.
So I think it's really cool that like, I don't know if it's just like super hyped up in Austin because like that's where their headquarters are, but it's super easy to meet people and like network and connect, and there's not as much pressure on like dating versus I feel like maybe Hinge is a little bit more serious.
If you're on it, you're most
Right.
likely looking for like the end goal
Yeah.
of the game.
And I tried to apply for Raya. I've been on the wait list for
No, I see
literally
people talking about it all the
2
time.
years. 2 years.
Well, everybody I talk to is like talking about Raya. I'm not on Raya because I don't even know what it is. But like,
yeah.
everybody's like, yeah, like I'm trying to get on Raya. Like I can't get on. Like I'm not getting accepted. But then there's like the very few that are accepted. So I'm like, is this like some high society cult
Yeah.
that we need to
I-
get? I love a good cult.
Literally-
Like I love a good conspiracy theory. Like we need to talk about it.
I am telling you right now, if Raya says you're on the wait list, we'll get back to you, it's because they don't think that you're hot enough. I'm telling you right now.
Yes, I was talking to somebody about this. They were like, yeah, maybe I'm just like not hot enough.
Yeah,
I'm like,
fuck that.
that's fucked up.
You're not gonna keep me on there. I've been on there for 2 years. I've had plenty of glow ups in the time.
I'm like,
being.
I don't need this, hit to my
Seriously.
self-esteem. Like, I'll just like wait
Seriously.
until they open it up to the public.
Talk about a way to ruin my ego. I mean, not being accepted on Raya. That's one way.
Like, who are they? It's probably like all like these like famous people. There's just like a famous people.
I don't
app.
know.
Like, just
I don't
go
know.
ahead.
I don't have dating apps anymore, though. I will admit that I did delete them like 2 months ago.
Is there a reason? Do we need to? Is there like an episode that people might have to go listen
Well,
to?
episode
maybe-
5, I
think
feel
episode
like
5
kind of alludes to the reason why I am no longer on there. You know, I feel like
because
when
you have like celebrity crushes. Everyone's
yeah, celebrity crushes. You know what I mean? But I feel like when you find something that you actually are like genuinely interested in, like those types of things, you don't. I mean, I feel like I was going on dating apps before, honestly, not because I was like genuinely looking for somebody, but because I was looking for the validation. And then I'm like,
Yes.
why am I looking for validation from random strangers just for like guys to think that I'm attractive? Like that's so insecure of
And
me.
I think that's why I'm where I'm at, because I feel like throughout college and like right after college, I was looking for validation of just like through hookups and stuff. Like, you just want the validation like that you're good enough for something. And then I started like after COVID hit, I went through like this whole thing where I was like, I need to figure out who I am to myself.
Mhm.
And like, I'm good enough for me.
Aw.
Somebody will find me.
I love that.
And I always talk to my mom about it because they're always like, oh, are you talking to anybody? Like, are you
Mhm.
dating people? Is that why you're moving? Like, and I'm like, no, like, I just feel like if I'm meant to be with someone, I will find them or they will find me and I will know.
Yeah.
And but like, I haven't had that yet. I've never been with someone or like talked to someone, hooked up with someone. I'm like, this is the one.
Yeah.
I've never done that. And I think that, and like, yes, like you can date to figure it out, but I also don't think like I'm that type of person. I think
Yeah.
I'll know when I know.
Oh my gosh, I totally agree. I'm the way that I'm like, I should not have to go on 4 to 5 dates with a guy to know that I'm interested in him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I don't feel an immediate connection, like, right away, I'm not going to pursue that. And, like, there is a difference between, like, being friends with somebody and that developing over time and then, like, seeing them in a different light. Like, obviously, like, what I'm going through right
Figure
now.
it out later, yeah.
Yeah, versus, like, meeting somebody in a romantic setting for the first time and, like, you're on a date with them and you just don't feel it. Like, you don't connect. You don't connect on a friendship level. You don't connect on a relationship level. And I don't think that you should have to continue talking to that person to figure out if you could potentially like that person.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I'm very much like, I'm going to go with my gut instinct.
Yep.
And if I don't feel it, I don't feel it, and I shouldn't have to force it.
And now, how, like, I'll answer it too, but how do you think, like, if whatever you're going through now doesn't work, how would you find your person? Like, what is your ideal way of finding that person?
Honestly, this is such a hard question because, like,
see, I know where I think I'll find
mine. Oh my god, the way that I'm literally about to say, like, I think I found my person. Oh, I can't believe I just admitted that on the podcast. I think I have to keep that in there.
I feel like I'm honored to be a part of that.
Like, I will say I was in a really long-term relationship, and then, like, I had a period of time where I was, like, super heartbroken, and I was constantly, like, going out and flirting with different guys and, like, seeking validation from them and just really attention to kind of fill a void to make me feel better about myself. And then when I moved to Austin, like, I would go on dates every once in a while, but I just never felt anything. Mm-hmm. And I feel like for the past 3 years that I've been, like, single, it's been really hard for me to, like, feel actual emotions. Like, when I was dating my boyfriend in high school, I was, like, not a cheeseball, but, like, I was very sentimental, you know?
Yeah.
And I was very, like, in touch and self-aware of my feelings. And then I think that, like, when I wasn't caring about anyone other than myself, I was very selfish and I was very, like, you know, not really, like, allowing myself to feel emotions, I guess.
Yeah.
And then once feelings developed with you know who, should not be named, I don't know, I feel like I saw a different side of myself, and now I'm like, okay, wow, this is really weird, this is scary, this is terrifying, but it's also, like, so exciting. But I genuinely just, like, oh my god, the way that I'm about to say this, I have a literal gut feeling, and if this doesn't work out, I'm gonna look like an idiot, and I will own that. But
no, like, I don't think that. I think you trust your gut, and, like, you always have to. Like, things happen, though, so it's like, but trust your gut.
Yeah, I feel like it's different because this person, I didn't meet him at a bar. I didn't meet him, like, in any situation that, like, you know...
Not a typical
situation. Right. Like, just a friend that developed into something more, and so it was, like, a very more genuine relationship than I've ever had with anybody else, because all of those other relationships started on the premise of being interested in each other.
Yeah.
And, like, when it starts as a relationship, I feel like you're constantly looking for, like, the red flags, but when it starts as a friendship, like, you already know the red flags and you accept them.
And you get to know them, and you're like, if you found a red flag, you'll find it at some point, but, like, if you haven't found one, then it's like...
And then those things that are, like, maybe flaws, you actually start to, like, appreciate, and they're like little quirks that you kind of love.
Yeah,
and
I love that one, because my parents are like, you might have, like, there's people you find, like, they're not going to be perfect, but they have their little quirks, like, you learn to love it.
Yeah.
In a way.
Totally. So, honestly, I don't have a backup plan. I don't know.
And no one does. Like, you never do.
And, I mean, it might not work out, and if it doesn't, like, I pray that I'm, like, cool with that, and, you know, I'm sure it'll be for the better because somebody else that's suited for me will come along.
Yes.
But I'm so curious for you. I know I just took a lot of time explaining
that.
I'm
so glad I got to ask the question to you.
Of course,
it brought out such a good story. Like, a little background into you.
Yeah, I feel like maybe a little intimate, maybe, like, I shouldn't share that, but also
She's keeping it in.
I totally own the fact that, like, I'm so vocal about, like, literally everything in my life, and so when something's going on,
at this point.
You know,
they know a lot about you. They know
totally.
Yeah.
But so super curious for you.
Mine's very short.
Okay, I love that.
Mine, I know for a fact, if I'm gonna meet someone, it is going to be whoever it may be, wherever they may be. It is going to be through a friend. Like, I know I'm going to show up to something, and I'm going to meet them, whether it's, like, a dinner, a birthday party, like, just, like, on the street. Like, my friends say, oh, this is so-and-so. I'm like, I've had moments where I'm like, oh, like, I'm in love with this person, and, like, never see them again. Mm-hmm. But, like, if I were to ever see them again, maybe, but, like, I know it's going to be an introduction.
Yes.
Because I just like know I'm not going out and like I have friends who are like determined when they go out to like find someone. I'm like, but you're not gonna find someone in your hometown that you've been to every single bar multiple times. Like
right, like you
have found them by this point.
You've known them for years. If there's no connection now,
like you would have like maybe if somebody new comes into the town or something, like we don't have like a very small town and people come in through different towns. I'm like, you're going out to the same places all the time expecting the same result. Like you need to branch out and find something new.
That's so true.
Even if you stay where you live, like go a few towns over, like take the leap and the trip to somewhere else. Like I'm going somewhere completely different.
Yeah.
Like maybe I'll find someone across the country.
Expand your Bumble location miles to like 15 instead of 5.
or like 100 at that point if you're willing to take a flight to go meet them. If people do that and it's worked out.
100 miles, Lewis. That's really like
another country.
Like an hour-long drive.
But I literally and I was actually looking at there's this person I follow on TikTok. They were talking about how like they met someone through, I don't know if it was a dating app or they met them because of TikTok.
No way.
And they were like, yeah, like I'm actually gonna get on a flight and go meet them. Like this is gonna end horribly. And it ended very well. Like I was so invested. I was like happy for them. And they were just like, yeah, like we met up. I was so happy to be with them. Was she sleeping?
So Kennedy is laying on the bed in this hotel room and she is sound asleep. Her alarm just went off. I feel so bad because I kind of kicked Kennedy out for a little bit to go eat her Chipotle. I'm like, Kennedy, you got a little loud chomping going on in the corner. Got a little bit of an echo. And she's taking a nice little nap over there listening to Lewis.
Can we talk about how excited I am to have met both of you in the same day?
I know.
How crazy is that?
It's 2 in 1, you know?
2 in 1. And because I could have met you both the one time. It didn't work out. But we knew. I feel like we knew it would happen another time.
Kennedy's laying on the bed. Kennedy, if you have any words of wisdom, you can totally speak out loud right now.
My words of wisdom was hearing you two fall asleep was the best thing that's ever happened to me. Oh, that was.
I appreciate that.
It's like ASMR from the beginning to the end.
I love hearing people talk. It makes me so sleepy.
Cheers.
We're also like Lewis and I are about to finish this drink. Honest, what is your rating of the drink? First of all,
I can't stop sipping it, so I want to say like it might be the sugar, but I also am giving it like I want to give it like a solid 9.
It could be the sugar.
It could be the sugar, but I also
a 9. I will take a 9.
I'm a big like I'm not a big orange juice person, but with the pineapple, I love tropical. Big tropical. So like this is like tropical.
If you love a pina colada, it's a little bit like a pina colada, but like more of a liquid drink.
Less thick. Like I feel like a pina colada, if like you want like a thick, almost like
creamy.
You shouldn't eat at that point because it's like a meal.
It
like,
literally is a whole meal in itself.
Soup. Good soup.
Pina colada, frozen soup. Pina coladas are literally my favorite. But okay, now I want to know. I'm just so curious. Like, what is your type? What would you say your type is?
Oh, that's really hard.
Because I feel like I don't know. I genuinely agree with you. Like if you're gonna meet somebody, it's probably gonna be through your friend because your friends are like a summary of the people that you are most similar to, that you surround yourself with, that you're inspired by. And so like for a friend to introduce you to someone, you know, I feel like you would have a lot more like confidence and trust in the type of people that they surround themselves with.
Yes.
But I'm super curious. Like if anybody listening to this like fits this to a T. Super curious.
It's like all over the place, but I think if I had to narrow it down, because I like someone who's like very career oriented. Like they're very about their goals. Like they would never like put aside their goals for something minute.
So
like,
important.
They're very motivated and driven. Yes. Can still be in a silly, goofy mood because like
they have to.
They have to understand my humor. Like they have to get it.
That's so important. Seriously, if somebody that I'm with cannot laugh at me.
Or like themselves.
You
have to be able to laugh at yourself.
You have to have humility. Yeah. Like you have to be okay with being embarrassing sometimes.
Yes.
And
I'm not gonna go out in public and like scream at the top of my lungs, but like we need to be able to make fun of ourselves like if we fall down.
And if people ever get embarrassed of me or like people I'm around or like my friends or something, like that's your ego. That's literally your ego.
And that's how I know personally. Like like I've done things like the bars, even my friends, like they'll be like, why are you doing that? I'm like, okay, I don't know why you're friends with me then. Because I've done worse than this. So, like I think you have to be able to make fun of yourself to be with 100%. Me, like or
I
anybody.
Love that for you.
Like, okay. I think for anybody, like you should just be able to make fun of yourself because like if you're constantly like worried about what somebody thinks of you and things like that, like that's another thing. I like people who are very just like they know who they are and like obviously that takes some time, but like we could work through it together.
Yeah.
And somebody who likes food. I'm a big food.
Food.
If you like food, yeah. Like I'm a big food person.
What kind of food specifically?
Oh, Mexican food.
Mexican. Oh my god.
Big nacho guy.
Have you been to Texas before?
No,
Oh my gosh, the Tex-Mex.
Because Tex-Mex, like yeah, I was like,
so
I've
good.
never been. I've heard great things.
It's funny because being from Ohio, like our Mexican like food
You're from
restaurants.
Ohio.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No?
I don't know why I didn't know that.
Oh my
Why did I think you were from Texas? No, that's
I mean,
just
I
really
post so
dumb.
much about Texas that like I totally understand.
Well, I
why you
only
think that.
knew you from when you
True.
moved to Texas. Like you were there, I think, already for your job, and then like you've been there ever since. Like I think I knew you through that.
Yeah. So I am from this like small town. It's called Painesville. It's like 30 minutes outside of Cleveland, and our Mexican restaurants are like, it's like very much American Mexican food, and I feel like the difference in the like Tex-Mex in Austin. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so much more like savory. Chewy's jalapeno ranch. I could literally drink it. I
guess spicy
I could
ranch
actually,
is like, oh my
it's
god,
so good. I could actually chug it right now as a shot. I could drink it as a cocktail through a straw.
If you gave me like a thing of queso, I could drink it. Like
The queso too.
I drink queso.
There's so many different types of queso. Do you like white queso or yellow queso? That's
White.
very important. Me too.
White. Okay, so I had white for the first time somewhere. It was like a Mexican restaurant actually on Long Island, so it wasn't even like, I think it's like traditional Mexican, but like obviously New York version.
Yeah.
But I had their white queso, and I was like, it was like with nachos, but it was on the side, so I dipped it, and I was like, this is incredible. Like, who would have thought?
So good. I feel like white queso, this is such a like random comment. Sometimes it tastes a little bit like peanut butter.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Do
Yeah.
you feel that?
I get
like,
what you're saying. No,
oh my god,
it's
I'm
weird
so glad
because I
know
have
that.
the taste of it in my mouth right now, and I'm
Me
like,
too.
I get it.
Salivating. I'm like, I haven't eaten like all
I
day.
just like order white queso. I was like drinking
Do you
it.
think they have it here? I don't know.
I feel like Chipotle has like
Probably.
their version, but it's
Just like
like,
basic.
we deserve better.
We deserve way better than Chipotle queso. Chipotle, if you're listening to this, though,
No, we love you.
We still love you. We would love to
you're
work
great.
with you.
Yeah, like we would love to, you could sponsor the pod. I eat a lot, so I think we can work something out. If you had white queso. Yeah.
So out of all of those qualities, the last one was somebody who likes food.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any like really bad first date stories? I'm so I
Oh my
love
god, yes,
hearing
I
bad
do.
date
It was
stories.
really bad. And it was on my part, but it was also like, I feel like this is about like knowing yourself and being confident. Like, I like asking because I'm like, I feel like you put somebody else first. Like, what would you like? And if you like, everybody has those people, like our friends too, that are like, I don't know, what do you want?
Yeah.
But like, it's the point where like, you know what you want or you know what you like. I don't want to make the decision for you. And I was like constantly asking, like, okay, but like, should we do this? Should we do that? And this girl that I took out, I was like, we could go here. Like, I'm not above it. Like, I'll pay for you. Like, obviously, like, I'm taking you on a date. Like, I want to bring you somewhere good. Like, it was the point where I was like begging her to tell me something.
Yeah.
And like, if you can ask people as much as you want what they want, and like, I could be like, do you want like Mexican? Do you want Italian? And they don't give you an answer to the point where you're like, do you want to go to a diner? Like,
yeah, literally,
nope,
what do you want?
We didn't even go to a diner. You know where we went?
Where? I'm so nervous.
And it's delicious and it's great, but not for our first date.
Where?
We went to Wendy's. And
Shut
then we went,
the fuck
and
up.
we went to a dock after.
Wendy's? Would you tell me you got a 4 for $4?
No, I like asked her which one. She's like, I just want fries. I was like,
what?
Fucking Wendy's. Get like a Baconator.
No, if you're at Wendy's,
Like I'm eating I'm eating like 20 chicken nuggets. I don't care. Like,
if you're at Wendy's, you bet your ass I am getting the Asiago Chicken Ranch Club with the fries
Sounds
and
like
a
dinner
Frosty.
tonight. Like, and you dip the
You know
fries
what?
in the Frosty.
Oh, duh.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are eating fries or Frosty alone, that is a literal crime.
And that was it. And after we went to Wendy's though, it was done. I was like,
Did you ever like talk to her ever again?
Nope.
Or
Never
you just instantly
again.
like the French fries? I cannot.
I was like, you just want French fries and nothing else. And
Oh
this
my
is the date.
God.
I was like, I offered you Italian, Mexican, sushi.
Oh my god! Out of all things,
We were like driving past Wendy's, and she's like,
crazy.
"Do you want to get Wendy's?" I'm like, I actually might bash my face in on my steering wheel. like I was like, I can't believe it. But
I feel like that's such a lack of character.
But
Like,
then
come
I
on,
left-
there's so many better things on the menu.
that's
You know?
and I left too, and I was like, maybe she's just like wanted to be simple tonight. But I'm like,
Yeah.
fries,
A
like,
simpleton, you know. If you, but we are not simple people.
We are not.
We are not simple people. And I feel like
As we're talking about white queso.
I know, right? We're not basic.
Yeah, fuck yellow queso. We want white queso.
Screw basic people. Meanwhile, we're like drinking a little cocktail.
Which we're almost like, it's like getting to the point where it's like so
Honestly,
good.
are you feeling it?
Yes, I
Me
am.
too. I'm feeling it too.
I can't believe.
Is the podcast getting better, you guys? Like, as you're listening to it, are you feeling a little bit more entertained?
I feel like and they also had to make a drink with us, so they're probably
Mhm.
on the same level. That's all that
Mhm.
matters. Like, and if
The
they're not,
girlies-
if you're not,
The girlie's doing 3, 30, 12. What's it called? 3, 12, 30?
30,
Whatever the fuck it's
30,
called.
13.
The girlies are on the treadmill right now. They paused it. They went home. They made themselves a nice little painkiller fun on weekdays cocktail. And now they're like, oh, I'm feeling
I
it
can't
too.
wait to watch the progression of us like throughout the video. Like
Honestly,
you're gonna just see us like get like I don't even
A
know how
little
to
drunk,
like
a
a little.
little
Like you just see
the
the draw
eyes,
coming.
the eyes get a little heavier. So I
Yes.
will say that my podcasts mainly are listened to on Spotify. A lot of people mostly just like listen to the podcast, but honestly, I feel like watching the podcast is way more entertaining. Like, because I don't know, body language and just in general, I
Hand
feel like it's more
motions.
engaging to watch it. So
If you're listening, like how are you gonna make the pod like the drink like we did?
I know you need to see the ratios that we had.
The ratios were
Heavily skewed.
I do want to check back in
Heavily
with
skewed towards the
drink.
Bacardi.
Like we did drink majority of the bottle.
We did.
I think Kennedy needs to have the last.
Kennedy!
I think
Cardi
we-
just sounds like ass.
This one's not horrible.
Not Kennedy on the.
Literally. Wait, what? What's the chunks at the bottom of it?
It was the coconut cream.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Oh, it was good by itself. We like took it with our finger. Delicious.
It's so
I'm
good.
really not. Yeah.
Oh, then you wouldn't like this.
Yeah, that's sick and
This
twisted.
is
Yeah.
good. This is good.
So I feel like I have quite a few like really bad date stories.
Yes, I need to hear. You
Okay.
had my Wendy's one.
So the only like the number one worst date story that I have, and anybody who's listening to this that follows me on TikTok, like you've heard this story probably so many times that you're like, shut up, Jenna. It's not funny anymore. But I have to put it out there for anybody who like maybe haven't heard it. So when I was living in Austin 2 summers ago, so like I've lived in Austin for the past 3 summers.
Was it on TikTok or did?
It was on TikTok. I've talked about
Okay,
it.
I want to say I'm trying to think. I feel like I've heard a bad date story.
I literally used this story as my Hinge like answer for what's a bad story, like what's your first worst date story. So basically, 2 summers ago, I was living in Austin. Yeah. And I saw this guy in the apartment that I was subleasing from in the gym all the time. And then eventually, he like made friends with me. He eventually started talking to me, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, like, if you're not busy tonight, my friends are going on a boat, and like, if you want to come, you should totally come." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Like, who is gonna turn down a boat in their right mind?"
You always look for the people with the boat.
You never-
on the dating apps.
Right,
Like,
right.
I need to
Like,
find someone with a
literally,
boat.
The only reason why I'm on Hinge is literally to find a boat owner.
Yeah.
Or a guy whose parents own the boat, because realistically,
And
none of
then
the guys
they'll take
actually
it out.
own it.
Yeah,
Right.
It's
right.
there.
Right.
It's inheritance.
Right. Exactly. If they have a trust fund, it's even better.
It's gonna be there.
So,
all the
so
money's theirs.
So I found this guy, right? And he invites me on a boat. I'm like, awesome. No red flags there, right? Like, I just met him 20 minutes ago, but who cares?
At the gym.
Right, at the gym. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, his veins were pumping. And I was like, ooh, I feel kind of some way. So,
Free workout or crack, I don't know.
who knows? Steroids? What? So I go upstairs, I shower, I'm like getting ready for this, and then I go down to his apartment because he's gonna drive us. Let me just tell you that his entire apartment was the crustiest thing I've ever seen. Picture like the crustiest baking pan you've ever seen in your entire life. It's got grease on there, it's got like crumbs, it's got like shit all over it. Yes. So now picture that sporadically placed around the entire apartment, right? Like it's not only in the kitchen, it's everywhere. Like
Ladies
why are
and
there
clean.
pans and dishes like literally everywhere? It's so disgusting. There's like empty White Claw cans everywhere. Ugh. Kennedy on the bed is like,
It's disgusting.
And you smell it. You like
Yeah.
it's
smell
so
that.
bad. The stench, it literally smelled like a frat house basement.
Yeah.
And also burnt eggs. Like that's a really random smell.
But
it's
the
a
frying
very
pan was still there from breakfast.
it's a very distinct smell too.
Yeah.
If you've ever smelled burnt eggs,
Oh, it's
what it smelled
And
like.
also, how do you fucking he probably burned eggs, and how the fuck do you do that?
No, I don't know.
How? He's probably drinking the White Claws, and he's like,
he was bringing the White Claws, and he's crushing the can, he's throwing it back into the living room, and then he's taking the pan from the first one that he fucked up, he's throwing it back there, pan sitting on the couch.
The pan's on the couch, the eggs are under the couch. Like, it's just like a reverse of everything. But you have to get to the boat after the crusty room.
Right? And I'm thinking, he's like, yeah, it's super cool. Like, it's a really nice boat. There's like a bar on the boat.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, cool.
I was going to say, is it a fucking canoe? Because I would have thrown up.
Just wait. So I'm thinking, like, okay, cool. It's going to be one of those barges, like, that people rent out for fraternity, like, rush events. At this time, I was, like, super new to Austin. I really didn't know, like, the boating scene in Lake Travis, right? So he tells me that there's a bar on the boat. And that's all that really matters to me. Because I'm like, if it's absolutely terrible, I can have a good time.
Yeah.
Right. Make a good story out of it. So we get there,
I'm so scared.
and I'm pretty sure his name was like Skippy or something. His name was Captain, with the most basic name ever that you would ever imagine for like
Skipper.
a captain's name, right?
Oh, God.
And it was a sailboat. So for a sailboat, you have like the open area in the front that you sit on, right? And then you have like the back where like the giant wheel is, and there's like a small sitting area. So we're waiting for all of his friends to arrive, and suddenly this like older couple in their mid-40s starts walking down, and I'm like, oh, like that's so cute of them to like have a little picnic. Oh no, they were on the boat with us. And so everybody that was on the boat with us was literally over the age of 40. They all got babysitters for the night. They're all married. And this guy made it sound like we were going on this boat with like all these people my age in college. Like I was gonna make friends for the summer.
Rage, like...
This was literally my first weekend in Austin. And I'm like, what did I just get myself into? It was a literal 4-hour boat ride for the sunset.
Okay. Because I've watched, like below deck sailing boat. Where was the bar? Like, wait, how did you get there?
Oh, the bar did not exist. The bar was in the literal mini fridge down under.
Oh, so it was like a...
There was no bar.
The bar.
There was no
but
bar.
You just go grab a drink. And it's like
Literally,
a Bud Light.
the bar was the Yeti cooler that he brought on full of White Claws.
Christ.
So,
Jesus.
yeah,
They're
that's
all by
that.
like black cherry. It's like not even.
They
like
were!
It's not even like a new flavor. It's just like I brought the really good ones, and it's all black cherry.
They were literally all. Oh my god, the way that you just saw through that. So I forgot to mention the most important piece of this entire date was that Lake Travis is about 45-50 minutes away from where we lived, and on the way there, I kid you not, he played a Sandstorm dance EDM mix the entire way.
Now, it's so funny that you're saying that because this plays off a video I just posted for the pregame. I don't want any, like I did like rules for the pregame. I don't want any bullshit. I want like throwbacks.
Yes.
Like current.
Throwbacks
like,
only.
Like good music. Like
His
don't play
music-
things I can't sing along to.
His music choice told me everything that I needed to know, and at that point, I shared my location with all of my high school friends. I'm like,
as you should.
literally, if you do not hear from me in 30 to 45 minutes
I'm
from
dead.
now, I am
dead.
in the middle of Lake Travis, maybe drowned by
either drowned or I
by the
jumped off
bass.
the boat by myself.
The bass was so heavy it literally drowned me.
Or I just took a life preserver and threw myself overboard.
So we're on this sailboat, right? And oh my god, I'm telling like the most elaborate story right now.
I am so like I went to Wendy's, but this sounds
I know. I
horrible.
feel like I'm just like totally
like yours sounded like it was like, oh my god, like we're going in a sailboat, and then it was just like skydive off of that. Horrible.
Yeah. So well, just wait. So we're on the sailboat, and like all of these women are like older, and they're all married. And they're like, oh my god, he's so hot, like Andre. That was his name, Andre. And you have to roll the R too. Like if you didn't,
I can't.
if you
I
just said
physically can't.
Andre, no, that's not his name.
I'm sorry.
Andre.
I would disrespect him.
Yeah.
Thoroughly. I'd be like, Andre, can't do it.
Oh my god, he was disrespecting me. So that is very much overdue.
You should have been like Andre. Like you should
Yeah,
like really
Andrea?
like hit him where it hurts.
So at one point during the trip, I went down into the cabin and I went to go to the bathroom, right? And like there's a little sliding door that like separates the bathroom from like the actual cabin underneath. So I come out of the bathroom, wash my hands with like the little lake water, disgusting. And I see a literal silhouette, a giant silhouette in front of me, closing the door behind me into the cabin. I'm like,
Oh no.
And he was trying to be like really sexy. And I come out of like the little bathroom and he like pushes me onto the bed and he's like over top me like hand on hand, like I'm underneath him, and he's like, he starts aggressively making out with me, and I'm like, no, that is not what this is.
I just went to the bathroom.
Like
can
literally,
I get out of the bathroom for like 5 minutes?
Seriously, at this point, I almost wished that I wouldn't have washed my hands. Like, oh my god, I was so annoyed. And so at that point, I was like, okay, I need to get out of here. Like, this is so. I'm genuinely.
You were skeeved at that point.
Yes, like
gross.
ew, you're gross. So I'm like turning my face, and he's like literally licking my cheek because he's trying to make out with me. And then I go upstairs, and then whatever. And then at the end of the night, I eventually go home, and I was like, that was terrible. I don't want to date anybody ever again. Like, that was horrible. And to this day, honestly, I'm kind of glad that it happened, because not only am I alive, a blessing, but now I have a great story to tell.
Yes.
Exactly.
How did you fit this into a minute-long TikTok? Like,
oh my god, I don't even know.
The breakdown must have been like
the
rapid fire.
The minute-long TikTok just did not give the context. It did not give what I just gave. You know?
Like, I feel like there would have been like a few missing pieces. Like, I think this, like, you would, like, the black cherry white claws, I feel like that was a telltale sign.
Oh my god, that was a huge part of the story that I wasn't able to fit into it.
If you thoroughly think that people will enjoy black cherry white claws, like, yes, they are in a horrible last resort, but don't bring them as your only choice. Like
you have to
at
have
least
some
bring
other
water.
options.
Bring water at that point. Like, just like, let's not do this.
Yeah.
I know that. Like, I'm like, if anybody wants a white claw at this point, like, I should bring pineapple, because that's a new flavor.
Oh my god, pineapple.
Everybody loves a good pineapple.
I'm feeling the pineapple.
I am, and I think that is a very good mask to this. This is like all, oh my god, it's all of the,
oh my god.
that's like the coconut. It's like
it's all the thick ass juice in there.
The thick juice that we.
The thick stuff.
It's so gross.
Okay, we're gonna wrap things up because Lewis and I are about to go to an event.
If we make it there.
I know, seriously, if we barely make it there. Okay, honestly though, I'm feeling good. What about you?
I'm feeling very good, actually.
I need to change my outfit. Maybe put on maybe hop in the shower, like rinse off the sweat from my body, or just mask it completely.
I need to
with
stand over the
overload
AC. Like, you know when you like just throw yourself over the AC? I'm like, I'm about to go do that, and like.
Hotel air conditioning hits different.
It is loud.
Why is it so
This one sounds very
crisp?
Quiet, but I've been to some hotels that the AC is great, but it's so loud.
Yeah, it does. It's like literally surround sound.
I'm like, am I dying? Is there an earthquake in New York? I would never know because I'm in a hotel.
Seriously, this one's pretty good though.
It's very soothing.
We'll have like a few minutes while we cool off. Heated conversation, you know what I mean?
We really just got into it.
I know, seriously.
This is a lot of fun.
We could keep recording for probably another hour and not run out of things to say because I feel like
for a while too. I'm like,
we have been, and I wanted to touch on like the celebrity thing about like all of like celebrity tea people you've met. But I feel like when we're both in LA, we're gonna have to do another episode.
Yeah, and then we get like even more drunk. Like we just like really go for it.
I love it.
I mean, it's like almost like
it's a progression,
continuation. Like to be continued.
I love it.
Good.
I love it. So our to be continued for tonight is we're going to a Bumble event. We're going to. Her name was Carmen. It's like it's a bar. It's a Latin American bar in New York City. They have like dancing and cocktails and food. So about to get my my dance
shake
on.
Some ass.
Yeah.
I'm about to rip some ass for real.
Kenny's at a shitter band.
I've been recording that for like 5 minutes. I was hoping you guys were gonna wrap it up.
Oh, your camera's about to die.
Oh, okay. My camera's also about to die, so we gotta wrap up this podcast. Follow Lewis if you aren't already. I'll link his socials whenever I post anything about this. Seriously, follow him. He's such a joy. So funny.
I've had so much fun. This has been great. And we're gonna have more fun. So.
And the last thing before we wrap up, I ask everybody, what is your suggestion of my listeners to do for fun this week?
Oh. Summer's ending, so go to the beach, put down like a nice picnic blanket, and fuck a picnic, just get drinks, like a nice bottle of wine.
Fuck a picnic.
Champagne has to be involved, and you just go and like if there's no lifeguards on duty, still just like jump in the water and come out, but like just do that. It's the end of summer.
Skinny dip?
Skinny dipping could work too.
Oh,
yeah, that would work too. If you have a pool and you don't want to go to the beach, you could do the same thing. But I really think you should go to the beach, pop some champagne, jump in the water, and enjoy.
I love it. On that note, my camera's going to die, so we're going to sign off. But everybody have a great week. Hopefully you get to a beach or a pool. And if not, maybe the next week. And regardless, I'll talk to y'all next Tuesday. Woo!
Fun fun on weekdays.